My new neighbor tried to ban Halloween decorations. Now my whole street feels haunted, but not in the way you think. Okay, deep breath. I, 22F, live on this normal cul-de-sac. Kids play soccer in the street. Every October we go nuts with decorations, fog machines, purple lights, candy bowls with motion sensors. It's like suburban Disney horror. Fun, harmless. Until this woman, Claire, moved into the beige house across from us 2 months ago. The first time she knocked on my door, she had a clipboard and a smile so tight it looked painful. She said she was circulating a petition to preserve family values. I laughed because I thought she was collecting for trick-or-treat candy or a block party. She didn't laugh back. It's about the Halloween displays, she said. Me, the what? Her, they're inappropriate for children. Me, like the skeletons? Her, all of it. The demonic imagery, the glorification of fear. I remember blinking at her for a full 10 seconds because she sounded like someone's mom from a bad Facebook meme. I told her my daughter Emma's been planning her witch costume for weeks, and Claire said, dead serious, you shouldn't encourage her to play with dark symbols. I just said, okay, thanks, and closed the door. I thought that was the end. Next morning, note taped to my mailbox. Some of us are trying to keep this neighborhood decent. Typed, printed, no signature. I took a picture and sent it to the group chat, which contains some special neighbors, such as Steph and Derek. Me, LOL, anyone else get this? Steph, oh my god, is that Claire's font? She used that in the HOA email about trash visibility? Derek, I didn't get one. Me, of course you didn't, you never put up decorations. Steph, she's gonna hate my inflatable zombie. Derek, let's all put more decorations just to spite her. Me, say less. It was funny then. It stopped being funny fast. 2 days later, my fog machine disappeared. I found it behind the recycling bin with the plug cut off. My husband Mark said it must have been the wind, or maybe one of the kids messed with it. I said, Mark, the wind doesn't use scissors. He just looked at me like I was overreacting. He's always calm like that. So calm it makes me feel crazy. That night, I checked our Ring camera footage. It showed motion at 1:43 a.m., a blur near the front yard. Too grainy to tell who. I tried to show Mark. He squinted, said it looked like a cat. The figure was human-sized. Next morning, Claire waved at me from across the street, smiling, holding a thermos. She called out, be careful with those, machines can overheat. I said nothing. The group chat got weirder. Claire somehow joined. I didn't even realize someone had added her until she started replying to old messages. Neighborhood crew, HOA, Claire, hello neighbors, so excited to be here. Just wanted to gently remind everyone that decorations shouldn't block sidewalks. Steph, welcome, lol. Me, hi Claire. Derek, wait, how did she get in here? Steph, I think Mark added her. Me, what? I texted Mark separately. Me, why did you add Claire to the chat? Mark, she asked if there was a neighborhood thread, seemed polite to include her. Me, it's not an official thing, it's for friends. Mark, it's fine babe, don't make it weird. Don't make it weird. He says that a lot lately. The next few days were quiet. Then Claire started dropping off pamphlets, literally printed sermons about protecting the innocence of youth. She left one on every doorstep, except ours. I know because I watched her. She skipped our house deliberately like I was already damned. Steph texted me a picture of hers with, skull, skull, skull. What is this cold shit? I told her to ignore it. Meanwhile, Mark kept saying she's harmless, maybe just lonely. Except she wasn't lonely, she was watching. Once I caught her staring through our living room window from across the street while I was helping Emma with homework. Not like casual neighbor glance, full-on stillness. When I waved, she waved back after a pause like she had been deciding whether to pretend. The next day my mother-in-law called. She said Claire had stopped by her house. I swear on everything I love, I had never even given Claire my mother-in-law's address, but somehow she showed up, said she met me through the neighborhood, and spent 20 minutes talking about children absorbing energy through symbols. My mother-in-law thought she was part of the PTA. I confronted Claire later. I walked across the street shaking. Did you go to my mother-in-law's house? She smiled. She's lovely. We had such a good talk. How did you even know where she lives? Oh, small town, people mention things. No one mentioned anything. Mark said I was being aggressive. He apologized to Claire for me. I watched him do it over text. Mark, hey, sorry about earlier. She just stressed. Long week. Claire, oh, no worries. I completely understand how emotions can take hold. She screenshotted that and sent it to the group chat. No caption, just the screenshot.
Steph messaged me privately. Steph, what the hell is wrong with her? I don't know, but Mark's acting like I'm the issue. Steph, girl, watch your back. Fast forward a week, the petition shows up in our mail again, but this time it's not about decorations. It's titled Community Safety Initiative. 3 paragraphs about protecting neighborhood harmony and addressing disruptive behaviors. One line literally said, members who fail to respect community standards may be subject to review. Review by who? She's not HOA president, she's just Claire. I laughed about it at first, but then Steph texted that she'd seen Mark talking to Claire outside while I was at work. Apparently they looked serious. I asked him later and he said he was trying to de-escalate. From what? You, kind of. What does that mean? You've been tense, babe. People notice. People noticed. I started doubting myself then. Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe I was exhausted. I work full-time, raise a kid, keep the house running. Maybe I looked paranoid. Then came the Facebook post. Claire made this long neighborhood group update about embracing light over darkness, and under it someone commented, "You're talking about the witch house, right?" And she replied, "I'd never call anyone that, but some homes carry heavy energy." Everyone knew she meant us. Comments blew up. Half the neighbors joked, half agreed. Someone tagged Mark. He liked the post. I swear I felt something inside me crack. I tried to talk to him that night. He said, "You need to let this go." I said, "She's turning everyone against me." He said, "You're making yourself look crazy." I started crying. He walked out. Later, I found him in the kitchen typing on his phone. I saw Claire's name in his messages. I confronted him and he said, "She just asked if you were okay." Why would she ask that? Why would she need to? 2 nights later, Emma woke me up. "Mommy, the lady was in the yard again." I said, "What lady?" "The one who doesn't like Halloween." My blood went cold. I went to the window, nothing there. Mark said she probably dreamed it, but Emma doesn't lie. The next morning, every skeleton on our lawn was turned to face the house, arms lifted, not broken or knocked over, posed. I called Steph. She came over, took one look, and said nope. She offered to help me pack everything away until after Halloween. Mark said that was dramatic. So I left them up. I refused to let Claire win. Yesterday, the group chat exploded. Someone posted a blurry photo from a Ring camera, a woman in a long coat walking up to my house at night. You can't see her face. People were guessing if it was me. Claire commented, "Maybe she's just sleepwalking." The messages spiraled. Jokes, theories, people sending eye emojis. Mark texted me privately, "You're feeding into it, stop replying," but I hadn't even said anything yet. When I finally looked at my phone again later, half my messages in the chat were gone, deleted. I didn't delete them. I scrolled up, the timestamps didn't match anymore. Someone had edited the thread, or maybe I'm losing it, I don't know. I confronted Steph and she said, "What do you mean? I still see your messages." She sent me a screenshot and yeah, they were there, but the wording was slightly different, like autocorrect but not. I started to feel dizzy, like I was living inside 2 versions of the same conversation. Tonight I heard someone knock, but when I opened the door there was no one, just another note. "Some of us are trying to help you before it's too late." I showed it to Mark. He sighed, "Maybe someone's pranking you." "Do you think Claire's behind it?" He said, "I think you need rest." He took the note out of my hand and dropped it in the trash. When he walked away, I took it back out. It wasn't printed this time. It was handwritten. Same font style cursive as the first typed note. And here's the part that makes me want to throw up. The handwriting looks exactly like mine. I'm typing this now because I don't know what else to do. I keep catching my reflection in the window and thinking I see someone standing behind me, but it's just me shaking. I feel like everyone around me has quietly agreed on some version of events that I'm not part of. Maybe Claire is just a controlling neighbor. Maybe Mark is just tired. Maybe I've really lost the plot, but I keep replaying something Emma said earlier when she was coloring at the table. "Mommy, Miss Claire said you don't believe in good people anymore." I asked when she said that. "Emma, when she was inside." "Inside where?" "Here." She said it so casually like it wasn't weird. I checked the locks all fine, but the skeletons weren't where I left them. And one of them was smiling.
Okay, so apparently I'm unstable now. That's the new word. Claire used it first, and now it's showing up everywhere. Casually, like pollen. This morning, Mark said, "Maybe we should keep things low-key this Halloween. You know, for Emma." Low-key, meaning no decorations, no confrontation, no proof I still exist. Steph hasn't texted in 2 days. Her messages used to be constant. Memes, screenshots, neighborhood gossip. Silence feels like static. It started with the photo. Someone dropped a new image in the neighborhood crew chat. "My lawn, again, skeletons down, candy bowl tipped." Caption, "Maybe this is the universe telling us something." The name beside the photo was Steph, but she swears she didn't post it. Me, "Why would you post that?" Steph, "I didn't. I was at work all morning." Me, "Then how did your phone send it?" Steph, "I don't know, maybe hacked?" Mark looked at the thread and said, "It's probably a glitch." But Claire replied under it, "Claire, oh, accidents happen. We should all remember to protect our energy though." And somehow, everyone liked your comment. Little things vanish every day. My phone charger, one of Emma's school drawings, the witch one, obviously, the spare key from the porch hook. Mark says I misplace things. Emma says the nice lady borrows them. She means Claire. Claire invited everyone to her house for coffee, called it a safety committee. Mark said we should go to show goodwill. So I went. Her house smelled like lavender and printer ink. Every wall white. No photos, no clutter, just binders labeled community guidelines, and a corkboard covered in sticky notes. Trash day Wednesday. Dog barking Jones number 7. Decorations, my address. Yes, my address was on her board, circled twice. She poured coffee like we were old friends and said, "I'm glad you came, dear. Communication heals everything." Then she handed out forms. checkboxes like noise after 9 p.m., obstructive lawn decor, public displays promoting fear. I asked, "What is this?" She smiled. "Just accountability." Mark filled his out. I wanted to scream. That night, I got a message from Steph again. "Steph, check Facebook RN." Me, "What?" Steph, "I think she got into my iCloud." Me, "What?" Steph, "Yes. Also, Mark messaged me. He said you're under a lot of stress and maybe I should keep things light." I didn't reply. I just stared at the phone until the screen dimmed. For 2 days, no one says anything. Mark works late. Emma hums weird songs she says Claire taught her. Then I notice the curtains move even when the windows are shut. Tiny things, like the air's different. I start checking locks twice, 3 times. Mark calls it ritual behavior, says I should see someone. Yesterday, I missed a call from an unknown number. Voicemail, silence at first. Then Claire's voice, soft. The hardest part is admitting you wanted this attention all along. 35 seconds of breathing after that. I played it for Mark. He said it must be spam. Tonight, I walked across the street again. I didn't tell Mark. Claire opened the door before I knocked, like she was waiting. I said, "Stop talking to my family." She said, "I'm just trying to keep you safe." I said, "From what?" She smiled, "From yourself." Her porch light flickered, or maybe I blinked. "You think everyone's against you because it's easier than seeing what you've done." What did I do? She didn't answer. Just handed me one of those stupid pamphlets again. But this one wasn't printed. It was handwritten. My handwriting. Inside, "You have to make it stop before October 31st. That's where I am now. The street outside is glowing orange with everyone else's lights. Ours are dark because Mark forgot to replace the bulbs. Emma's asleep. At least I think she is. Every few minutes, I hear the faint ding of the group chat on Mark's phone. He doesn't realize I can see the reflection of his screen in the window. Claire's name keeps popping up. And every time it does, he smiles.
I think it started with the voicemail, or maybe it started before that, like the slow peeling of sanity where you stop trusting your own memory and start rereading texts just to prove to yourself that they existed. The voicemail was short, clipped. "Hey, can you call me back? I think we should talk before tonight." But the thing is, he swore he never sent it. I played it for him right there in the kitchen and he laughed like I was staging evidence. "You're scaring me," he said. Me! That's when I realized I wasn't the only one being watched. The group chat, our neighborhood one, has been quiet since the whole Halloween thing, but last week, messages started disappearing, like entire threads gone, even old ones from last year. I thought maybe someone archived them, but I checked I wasn't even an admin anymore. Guess who was? Her. I didn't even know you could change admin roles without notifying people. Someone must have gone through the settings. It's ridiculous, right? That a Halloween decoration fight would turn into whatever this is. But she's everywhere now. She bumped into my daughter at school pickup. She brought cupcakes for the PTA, and somehow every parent now knows I refused to cooperate with her neighborhood safety plan. What safety plan? My husband thinks I'm spiraling. He keeps saying, "You're looking for patterns that aren't there." But then I caught him deleting messages again. Nothing big, just tiny deletions that don't make sense. Like a message that says, "See you later," followed by a blank. Why erase that? The weirdest part is how people are acting like she's always been here. Like I'm the one who's new. Even Mrs. Lang from next door said, "Oh, she's been renting that place for years, hasn't she?" No, the house was empty until July. I remember because the moving truck blocked my driveway for 2 hours and my husband pretended not to see it while I stood in the rain like a lunatic. Sometimes I think maybe she isn't new. Maybe I am. A few nights ago, I woke up to the fog machine running in the yard. I didn't turn it on. Neither did my husband. The sound was faint, like static, and the yard was filled with mist that didn't look right. It was too thick, too cold. And then I saw movement. Not a person, not clearly, but a shadow at the end of the hedge. I ran outside barefoot. It was silent, but the note on the mailbox was back. Same handwriting as before, only this time it said, "You forgot." I don't know what I'm supposed to have forgotten. I tried showing him the note. He said I made it myself. He said I need rest, but he's been different lately. He started locking his phone, which he never used to do. He's always out walking the dog, but the dog's been limping, and I found mud on his shoes that doesn't match the trail behind our house. And when he comes back, he smells like that same fog, cold and chemical. I checked his photos. There's one of me, asleep, and behind me, barely
barely visible in the mirror. She's standing. I can't stop replaying the dinner party in my head. That was when I first noticed the cracks. Her smile too wide, her compliments slightly off like she'd rehearsed them. You've got such a brave little girl. Who calls a child brave after meeting them once? Then she told my husband, it's so lucky your wife still has time for hobbies. What hobbies? I don't have hobbies. Unless she meant the decorating. The next morning, the pumpkin lights were smashed, every single one. My husband said it was wind, but the wind doesn't leave shoe prints. I tried calling my sister to talk it through, but she didn't answer. An hour later, she texted, please stop dragging me into your neighborhood drama. I told you she's not the problem. I never told her anything about the neighbor. I swear. So who did? Then I found out there's a private Facebook group, Community Wellness and Family Harmony. She's the moderator. And there's a post about a resident exhibiting paranoid and disruptive behavior. The comments, the sympathy, the lies. Even one woman wrote, it's sad she used to be so sweet. Used to be. I didn't even know they were watching. Yesterday, I checked the home camera footage. Every night between 2 and 3 a.m., the video jumps, like skips frames. You can see me sleeping, then suddenly I'm turning over, then still again. But once, just once, you can see a hand. Not mine. Someone reaching toward the camera lens. And then it cuts. Today, she came over again, smiling, calm. She just wanted to check in, she said. You've seemed off. I asked her what she meant. She looked at me for a long time before saying, you should probably rest before the meeting tonight. What meeting? Don't play dumb, we all got the email. I never got an email. But my husband did. It's evening now. The house smells like that fog again. He's downstairs talking quietly on the phone. I heard my name once. Then, the sound of a car door. Through the blinds, I can see her standing by the mailbox, clipboard in hand, smiling, waiting. And the thing is, I think I remember her now.
I wasn't going to post again. Honestly, I thought I'd made everything up. But now that the fog's back and the lights are flickering again, it's like the house is breathing. My husband's gone. He left right after the meeting. I say meeting because that's what they called it, but it wasn't that. It was a performance. A whole stage set up in the cul-de-sac, folding chairs, tea lights, her in the center with that same clipboard. Everyone was there. Mrs. Lang, the couple with the twins, even the mailman. And me. They said it was about neighborhood cohesion, but when I sat down, she smiled and said, we just want to make sure you remember everything correctly. Then they started reading. It was like a script. My texts, my voicemails, my conversations, word for word. Things I said months ago, things I said in private. Even the one I whispered to my husband after we fought. I looked at him, waiting for him to say something, but he just stared down at his hands like he'd been waiting for this. You've been very busy, she said. And then she pulled out photos. Me, standing by her fence. Me, holding the smashed pumpkin lights. Me, taping something to her mailbox. I don't remember doing any of that, but the timestamps were right there. This isn't real, I said. She smiled. Then you should have no problem proving that. And that's when I realized this wasn't about Halloween anymore. After that, things get blurry. I remember people clapping. I remember Mrs. Lang hugging me and whispering, it's better this way. I remember my daughter crying because someone told me I needed to rest. They said they'd take care of her while I got help. They took her hand and walked her back toward the house. My husband didn't even look at me. When I tried to follow, he said, just a few days, okay? She knows what's best. She? As if the neighbor had always been part of us. When I got home, everything was wrong. My decorations were gone, my photos replaced. Even the mug I always use, the one with the chipped handle, was missing. But the voicemail was back, the one he swore never existed. Except this time it wasn't his voice. It was mine, saying, hey, can you call me back? I think we should talk before tonight. I haven't slept since, because the cameras keep flashing on their own, and sometimes I catch glimpses, just fractions of seconds, of people standing behind me.
And in the corner of every shot, there she is. Sometimes blurry, sometimes sharp, always smiling. I tried driving away, but the GPS kept rerouting me back here. It said, turn left, over and over, even when I reached the edge of the neighborhood. Until finally it said, you're home. I wasn't touching the wheel. Last night I went into her yard. The gate wasn't locked this time. There was no furniture, no lights, no sound. Just fog and a faint hum like a power line about to snap. Inside the house, everything was identical to mine. Same photos, same chipped mug, same child's drawing on the fridge. Only in hers, the faces were different. Mine were crossed out. Hers were drawn over them. In the living room, there was a projector. On the screen, security footage of me. Sleeping, eating, decorating. Hundreds of clips looped together like a study. And at the end of each one, a date. The last one said, tomorrow. When I came home, my husband was sitting at the table. He said, she told you'd find it? I asked him what it was. He said, proof. Then he handed me a photo of me, standing beside her, smiling, holding the clipboard. He said, you were the one who started it. You just don't remember. I checked my phone just now. The neighborhood chat is gone, replaced by a new one. Safety check-in 2. Only one message. We're almost ready for the next version. Thank you for participating. And it's from my number. The fog machine just turned on again. There's movement outside the window this time, dozens of them, all standing still, facing the house. My daughter's in the doorway, holding the clipboard. She says, Mommy, you forgot to sign. The pen is shaking in her hand, and behind her, she's smiling again.